Hello, lovely people. It is Christmas. Yes, I welcome you to the Christmas edition of my presentation. It is the 27th of December 2023, and this is the year of our Lord. I know that your expectations may not have been fulfilled. This year, you had quite a rugged year, you know, and a whole lot of setbacks. But I believe that 2024 would present much better opportunities for you to realize your dreams, particularly with respect to traveling abroad. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and an absolutely brilliant New Year. I know that you are on course to pursuing your dream of traveling abroad, and so I am not going to relent in furnishing you with information. I have told you already that the United Kingdom issues about six kind of visas. Yes, six main kinds of visas. One, student visa. Two, visitors visa. Three, business visa. Four, tourist visa. Five, transit visa. And then six, family visa. So those are the six kinds of visas issued by the United Kingdom. I am sure that next year you are going to take advantage um, of one of them to migrate to the UK. Lots of opportunities abound, and I can't wait to see you here. We are doing 11 degrees Celsius, 11 degrees Celsius from London. Just as I said, you know, rejection of any kind can be very devastating. Rejection of any kind can be very devastating in relationships. When you get rejected, uh, it leads to a growing sense of anxiety, embarrassment, shock, and a whole lot, especially when you feel that your your relational value to others is not well respected or valued, and a whole lot. And the feeling is same with visa rejection. When you get a visa rejection, sometimes it is so hard to take, and so it is important that we avoid certain fundamental mistakes that have the potential to affect the chances of our visas getting approved. And so today, uh, I am going to do a series. I'm going to take each of the kinds of visas, the six I have stated already. I am going to take them one after the other and explore them in terms of uh, the factors that would account for, or that have the potential to account for their rejections. Today I'm going to zero in uh, I'm going to zero in to visitors visa. So under what circumstances is or are visitors visas refused, or what circumstances would increase the chances of our visitor visa getting refused. That's what I'm going to look at. And so join me as I take you through. A visitor visa would normally last for a period of 180 days. That is 3 months, yes. So that is the longest duration of your visitors or your visitor visa to the UK. A visitor visa is issued to people who want to visit a family in the UK or want to embark on a tourist activity or a business venture. So, and people who are also coming to study, and their studies would not last for more than 6 months. Note the difference. With students visa, your studies would have to last for up to a year. 9 months, between 9 months and a year. But with a visitor visa, uh, you could you could come here to study on a visitor visa. One thing is that when you are here on a visitor visa, you cannot marry, except if you want to marry, you need to uh, apply for a visa that is appropriate for um, that situation. So I am going to look at the circumstances under which your visitor visa could be refused. There are about 7 of them. The first one is uh, lack of funds. Lack of funds, yes. If you do not have enough funds, then you have no business applying for a visitor visa. You should be able to prove, by way of your bank statement that you have enough funds to support yourself. Expensive as the UK is, it is suggested that you have a minimum, you spend a minimum of between £100 and then £150 a day. So that should accumulate. That should accumulate into your account. You should have your calculation should be based on a daily amount of between 100 and 150 pounds for the entire duration of your stay here. What it means is that if you are coming here, you should have an amount. The amount in your account should be such that when it is analyzed, you should get an amount of between £100 and £150 to spend on a daily basis. Now, if you do not have that amount, if you do not have, you are unable to raise that amount, and you want to come to the UK on a visitor visa, there's an alternative. The alternative is that you can contract, or you can ask a third party, the person you are visiting in the UK, to support you with his statement, his bank statement. So, for example, if you want to visit me, I could support you with my bank statements. And, you know, the person should also prove that he has that money to sustain you over the course of your stay in the UK. So 2 ways: you either raise the amount involved yourself, or you talk to your a third party, the person who is receiving you, to sponsor you with his bank statements. In both cases, there should be significant amount in the money, and that is the amount I told you earlier, at least between 100 and 150 pounds a day to be spent. So that is about having having to prove having to prove with funds. If you are unable to prove that you have if you are unable to prove that you have enough funds to um, cater for your expenses over the course of your stay in the UK, it means that your chances of your visa approval will be very, very, very low. And so you take note of that. The second factor under which your visitor visa can be refused is uh, lack of ties to your home country. Yes, if you are not able to prove that you have enough connection. Remember, this is a visit. You have not come to stay for a longer period. You have only come to visit. And so you should be able to prove that you have enough connection, you have enough ties at home that could you have something concrete at home that could compel you to go back home when you have spent uh, 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 when you have exhausted, the duration of the visa, the time granted you, the 180 days. And how do you prove this? You prove this by way of a letter, your appointment letter. showing that you have some kind of job back home or you have a family back home. So ways of proving it include presentation of your appointment letter or um, marriage certificate, you know, those things as an indication, a property, fixed asset, something just to indicate that you have something valuable at home that would compel you to go back home after you've exhausted your 180 days. So another means of proving that uh, another means of getting uh, your visa approved, your visitor visa approved, is by showing that uh, you have proper ties at home. So that is compared. You have proper ties that 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 are compelling to send you back home. And ways of doing that would include showing that you have a family or you have an asset or you have a job that could take you back home. Good. Uh, Failure to do so certainly will lead to your visa rejection. Another circumstance under which your visitor visa could be rejected is insufficient evidence of purpose. Yes, if you don't have sufficient evidence of purpose, you'll be rejected. You should be able to convince the Home Office, those responsible for approving your visa, that you indeed have a genuine purpose for traveling. You do so by putting together a comprehensive uh, travel or traveling itinerary. If you don't do that, the Home Office has every cause to suspect that you are not a genuine visitor or a genuine tourist, and so uh, they wouldn't risk issuing you your visa. They wouldn't risk issuing you your visa. So insufficient evidence of purpose could also lead to your visa rejection. Now let's look at another circumstance, and uh, that is the number one condition under which your visitor's visa could be reduced, would certainly be refused. Yes, in fact, uh, this 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 factor cuts across uh, all other uh, sects of visa refusals, and that is criminal conviction. Yes, criminal conviction. If you have any criminal record, there's a high tendency. I mean, the tendency of your visa getting approved, and unless under very extreme circumstances, if you've ever had a criminal conviction before, unless under extraneous circumstances, very extenuating circumstances, uh, the rate of your visa approval is a minute 1%. So one other circumstance, and the major circumstance under which your visa could be rejected, your visitor visa could be rejected, is by having a criminal record. Uh, and Also, if you've had, if you've had, uh, if you've ever overstayed your permission in the UK, you overstayed your visa allowance in the UK, you could also uh, be rejected. So criminal conviction, overstaying in the UK, or having ever um, violated any UK regulations, criminal convictions, having ever violated any, and they fall under the same bracket. So if you have criminal conviction, You could also have violated any UK regulation or any UK regulation, and so on and so forth. Chances of your visa approval is almost 0%. Okay. Now, if you've also had, the next one is if you've also had a previous UK visa refusal. If you've had a previous UK visa refusal, there was a tendency that your visitor visa could be refused. You need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that your circumstances have significantly changed, for which reason um, this time around your visa should be granted. If you're unable to uh, convince the Home Office uh, about the significant changes in your circumstances, for which reasons your visa should be considered this time around, uh, then your visitor visa risk being approved. Now, the next one is submission of false information. Yes, you are under oath. You are under oath to submit uh, credible information to the uh, Home Office, those responsible for your visa approval. And so, if it is later detected or in the course of reviewing your application, it is detected that you submitted something that is not consistent with other documents, then your visa approval is at risk. It is important that you are consistent and you are true to the information you submit. Other than that, your visa certainly could be refused. And then finally, you could also be rejected. Your UK visitor visa could be rejected on health grounds. Yes, each country has their own, health standards and requirements. In the UK, you need to pass a tuberculosis test to be able to enter the UK. Anybody that has visited the UK in recent times has undergone a medical test, that is tuberculosis test. And so if you are not able to pass your tuberculosis test, if you have traces of tuberculosis, then your chances of getting a UK visitor visa could greatly be affected. So, my dear brothers and sisters, I am sure that by this you have braced yourselves. You've braced yourselves enough. A visitor visa is supposed to last for 180 days, that is 6 months, and it is issued for the purposes of studies uh, for up to 6 months, or for businesses, or for tourism. So the that is the umbrella under which tourist visas, visitor UK visitor visa visas are issued. And I have mentioned the circumstances under which your visa could be rejected. Let me, by way of recap, go over it briefly, quickly. Applicants' lack of funds. If you don't have enough funds, I explained earlier, you'll be rejected. If there was lack of ties at your home country, you will also be rejected. If you have insufficient evidence of purpose, you'll be rejected. If you have any criminal record, you stand a chance of being rejected. If you have previous UK visa refusal, you could be rejected. Submission of false information, you could be rejected. And then health grounds could be rejected as well. Note that you could pass all of them. You could meet um, you know you could be eligible with 7 of them, but still you could get rejected if you fail in any of them. If you fail in even a single one of them. And so those are the circumstances under which your UK visitor visa could be refused. In my subsequent presentations, I am going to explore the other kinds of visas and see how the circumstances under which they could be rejected, and see how uh, we could brace ourselves to mitigate the, uh, the, 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 the challenges of getting rejection. See you some other time. Bye.